we have the Cleveland Browns at number 15. I have them making a huge leap from last week, jumping up from number 25 to number 15. Jacoby Brissett was by no means terrible in this game. I would say he was subpar, but he didn't do bad enough to hurt his team, and he just allowed them to carry him through this game. The true story of this game was the Browns' rushing attack. They rushed the ball 39 times for 217 yards, averaging 5.6 yards per rush, and they scored a touchdown rushing the ball. I gotta say, hold on, I need to pull up the stat. So, the time of possession was really what won the Browns this game. They nearly doubled the Panthers' time of possession. They held on to the ball. Their time of possession was 38 minutes and 26 seconds, whereas the Panthers' time with the ball was 21 minutes and 34 seconds. The fact that the score even ended 26-24 says a lot about this Panthers team. They are a very good team, but they just could not get the Browns off the field. A very smart strategy by Cleveland Browns to just try to eat up as much of the clock as they can, keep Baker Mayfield off the field as much as they can, and it caused Baker Mayfield to struggle a bit. But that's huge. 38 minutes and 26 seconds versus 21 minutes and 34. That's huge. Overall on the day, Nick Chubb had 22 carries for 141 yards. He averaged 6.4 yards per carry, and his longest on the day was 25 yards. He did not score a touchdown, but Kareem Hunt, on the other hand, had 11 carries for 46 yards. He averaged 4.2 yards per carry, and he did get in the end zone. Jacoby Brissett, as I was talking about, he completed less than half of his passes. He did complete over half. He completed 18 for 34 for 147 yards on the day. He wasn't really pushing the ball downfield. He was just taking checkdowns all day. But he did score a touchdown to add up to a 74 passer rating. And honestly, this was a really, really close game coming down to the wire. And the Cleveland Browns kicked, I think it was a 58-yard field goal with 8 seconds left on the clock, I want to say. I think it was 8 seconds, right? Yep, Cade York, their rookie kicker, who won Special Teams Player of the Week for the AFC, kicked a 58-yard field goal to clutch the game over the Carolina Panthers, 26-24. And that says a lot about the Carolina Panthers. The fact that they lost to a 58-yarder with 8 seconds left on the clock, and they only held the ball for 21 minutes, means that the Panthers are a good team this year, but the Browns are even better. When their quarterback comes back from, the trouble that he has, this team looks scary. Their defense is phenomenal. Their running game is dominant. And the Cleveland Browns, once they get their quarterback, they become a contender for that AFC title. They absolutely become a contender for that AFC title. But right now, as it stands, I have them sitting at number 15. And I do want to also add that their D-line did get after the quarterback in this game. They had 4 sacks and 5 tackles for loss. They picked up 2 turnovers throughout this game. They had an interception and a fumble recovery. and it was more than enough to win this game. It was close. It actually wasn't more than enough. It was just barely enough to win this game. So, moving on to number 16, we have the Cardinals. Now, I don't want to be too harsh on the Cardinals after getting blown out by the Chiefs. I gotta say, the Chiefs just did a fantastic job of taking away the core of their offense. The Cardinals run an air raid offense, and the Chiefs took away the deep pass, and they forced the Cardinals they forced Kyler Murray to take checkdowns all day. It opened up the rushing attack a little bit for them. They averaged 4.7 yards per carry on 22 attempts for 103 yards and a touchdown. Honestly, I just think that the Chiefs did a good job of, forcing the Cardinals outside of their main offense. And the Cardinals, I just don't think they're used to playing in a very slow-paced, check down, and running the ball type of game. And I think that's what really hurt them in this game. They didn't know how to play the slow pace. And if they succeeded at playing the slow pace and holding the ball and keeping the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, they could have actually won this game. But it's just not a comfortable position for them, and they didn't know what they were doing. And, it ended up hurting them in the long run. And they just couldn't keep the pace of the Chiefs and the Chiefs' dynamite offense, led by Patrick Mahomes. There's not really a whole lot more to be said about them. There's nothing to say about the Cardinals' defense. 44 points is all you have to say about the Cardinals' defense. 44 points. Their defense is not the same defense they had last year, and they won't be. They're younger. They're going to take time to develop, but and Kyler Murray on the other hand too. Kyler Murray on the other hand complained. He wanted a new contract. He got a new contract. He got paid big time, and he's got to do better than how he did. He went 22 for 34 for 193 yards. Scored 2 touchdowns. Didn't throw a pick. He got sacked twice. His passer rating was a 99. He didn't do horrible, but I don't know. I think this game mostly comes down to Cliff Kingsbury and his just inability to adapt to new circumstances. And that's what their Achilles heel was last year. And it was the same thing in this game. Same story. And if it continues like this, Cliff Kingsbury is going to find himself out of a job this offseason. And I don't want that. I like Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach. I love his offensive scheme. But the dude needs to learn how to adapt. He needs to be able to figure out what's happening on the fly and change. Because, again, like I said, if they would have went with the rushing game, if they would have just tried to eat this clock down, if they played an extremely slow pace and kept the ball out of Pat Mahomes' hand, who likes to play at a fast pace, if they would have played the Chiefs' game, played into the Chiefs' hand, they very much could have won this game. Because the Chiefs set up the Chiefs' defense is by far, they're far from perfect, and they had the opening for the rushing game, and it's just not how they play. So yeah, that's really just the story with the Cardinals is adaptability. Can they adapt moving forward? Can they learn to adapt? So yeah, I have them sliding down 2 spots to number 16. And moving along here at number 17, I have the Indianapolis Colts. These guys disappointed me this week. It was a big disappointment. First I'm going to start off by talking about the best part about this game for the Colts, and that was Taylor. Taylor is not a one-year wonder. He carried the ball 31 times For 161 yards, he averaged 5.2 yards per carry, and he had a touchdown. You can't really ask for more from the guy. You know, he's the centerpiece of their offense, and it wasn't enough to overcome a Houston Texans team. They ended up tying the first game of the NFL season. We almost had 2 ties, but the Steelers ended up clutching it late. But Matt Ryan's got to step it up. He can't play like this every week if he wants to. If the Colts are going to be a top team. He was 32 for 50. He had 350 yards, so he moved the ball. But that was on 50 attempts. He threw a touchdown, 1 interception. He was only sacked twice. So he wasn't under an insane level of pressure. And his passer rating on the day was 83. Michael Pittman Jr. had a phenomenal game. He caught the ball 9 times on 13 receptions for 121 yards and a touchdown. He was just consistent through the whole game for them. I mean, there's a lot of hype behind this Colts defense, and they allowed the Texans to put up 20 points. They kept it in range, but I mean, there wasn't a lot of hype behind this Texans offense. I don't think anybody expected the Texans offense to put up 20 points against this Colts defense. The Colts almost pulled off a big comeback too. There was a certain point where they were down 17. The Colts got on the board first in the first quarter with 3 points, and they were shut out in the second quarter where the Texans got the upper hand. The Texans scored 10 points in the second quarter, so it was 10-3 going into the third, where the Colts were shut out again, and the Texans put up another 10 points. So the score was 20-3 going into the fourth, and then the Colts came back from behind. They put up 17 points. They held the Texans off the scoreboard and went into OT, where nothing happened. And they tied the game 20-20. I mean, you can't really give Jonathan Taylor the ball more. If anything, Matt Ryan just got to be more accurate, and their defense needs to play to their skill. The defense is fantastic, extremely talented, extremely skilled. We know what they're capable of, and they need to prove that on the field, which they didn't do this week. So I have them dropping down 5 spots from number 12 to number 17. And honestly, I mean, I think this is the floor for the Colts this season. I think the Colts should only go up from here. But, I mean, we kind of thought the same thing about the Colts last year. I have a lot of hope for this team, and I just hope it's not another repeat.